Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for September 9, 2022, the More Corruption Allegations in College edition. And we begin with that story from the Los Angeles Times, which reports that Karen Bass, the leading contender for LA's mayoralship, got a U.S. degree for free, and now it's pulling her into a federal corruption case where USC allegedly gave 2 influential LA politicians full-time tuition scholarships valued at nearly $100,000 each from USC's social work program. It's not clear at this point what the quid pro quo was, but the former dean of the social work program, Marilyn Flynn, and former LA County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas have been indicted on bribery and fraud charges. Certainly cannot bode well for Karen Bass. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, Steve Bannon and Border Wall nonprofit have been charged with money laundering and other crimes in connection with an alleged scheme to defraud donors to a Border Wall nonprofit corporation. The indictment charged Bannon and We Build the Wall, a crowdfunding campaign that backed an effort to build a wall along the U.S. southern border, with money laundering, conspiracy, and fraud. The New York Attorney General said that Bannon and his friends did it to enrich themselves. Who knew? Next up, also from the Wall Street Journal, there is a very significant trial going on out in San Francisco of a former Uber executive who is charged with not giving information to the FTC over a 2016 hack. The concern is around cybersecurity professionals and the liability they may face when confronted with such a hack. The former head of security at Uber, Joseph Sullivan, said that he was not in charge of responding to the FTC, and it was actually Uber's legal department which should have done so, and that he didn't know why the FTC wasn't told, but the legal department was responsible for it. So this is going to be a very interesting trial to watch and going forward. And finally, Elon Musk is even more deep water over the Dogecoin $258 billion Ponzi scheme lawsuit he's been drawn into. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.